So a couple years ago, there was this girl. I can already see my viewer retention dropping at 10 seconds in. Where was I? Girl. So you know that ages 11 to 14 is middle school age, and it's the period in your life where the hierarchy of your school or church is established, and once you are put into a category, you will most likely stay there until you graduate or grow out of it. There are a few tiers of groups and cliques, and if you're like me, you never cared about any of them and you tried to force yourself into all of them. I'm not upset at it, however, it's just a staple and milestone of being a middle schooler. Do you know what else is a staple of being in middle school? I mean, it's so funny to watch two middle schoolers have a crush on each other because it is so obvious to everybody around them but them. And that brings me to this commentary. Like I started out saying, there was this girl who, for the sake of the video, I will call Stas. But the first time I met Stas was after a church event where I think we were both 10. Both sets of parents had a meeting about something, so my brother and I had to find something to do. My brother did basically nothing while I found someone to annoy. Stas has always loved reading and drawing, and at this point, she had been in the quad, and the quad is a room that can be divided into 4 segments, hence quad. And as I was saying, she picked a dark corner of the quad and just sat there drawing and reading. I felt like she was being too quiet, so the next logical step is to start being an absolute pest. You know, stealing her charcoal drawing pencils and her hardcover copy of This Present Darkness. I continued this trend throughout the day until she finally lost her patience and did the only sensible thing and whacked me in the head with her book. Remember when I said it was a hardcover copy? So the first encounter I had with Stas was basically me being a nuisance and her running out of patience. I was stupid, mean, but can you guys relate? You know, when you're in middle school, in your mind, you're just teasing and trying to get attention. You see it as a joke, but it can be very devastating to the other person, and you don't realize that when you're 10. Foreshadowing. Throughout the next year or so, we were mean to each other. AKA, I tease her and she reacts, ending up with me getting what I deserve. But at this point, we basically hated each other. She hated me for constantly bothering her, and I hated her for hitting me in the head with books. Middle schoolers are stupid like that, okay? In 7th grade, both of us were, I think, 12. We were both part of a youth group, and if you don't know what that is, it's a Wednesday night church group for 6th through 12th grade, but I think most of you know what I mean. One night in youth group, it was announced that we were having a middle school retreat to a campground close to the church. It had a zip line, a rope course, a zip line. To be honest, most of the activities were a bit lackluster, but it was good for middle schoolers who had too much energy. There was this one game where we had to cut up pieces of cardboard. You had to tear it off and create stepping stones. The catch is that if someone on your team why am I talking about this? We did some games, some activities, and Stas came to the retreat with her best friend at the time. Her best friend at the time, we'll call her Shay. They were basically inseparable, Stas and Shay. They were best friends, and whenever one of them got hurt or bullied, the other one would be there for them. Stas and Shay went together to the retreat, and they were in the same group, but somewhere along, Shay kind of left Stas behind, and so Stas was alone for, I think, a good deal of the retreat, reading her books and drawing and stuff. Most of the retreat, I kind of ignored them. I hung out with my other friends. I think we had a game of Ultimate Frisbee going on. I never liked Ultimate Frisbee, but I'll play along. After an hour or so of free time, we ate dinner, sang some worship songs, and then we continued to play some youth games. These games included seeing how many cheese curls they could fit into my hair, singing all of Let It Go, and my friend Daniel being forced to eat a heart of palm, which he likes, by the way. So after getting thoroughly disgusted and showered, it was announced that we would watch a movie. The movie was Night at the Museum. It's about museum exhibits coming to life at night. The premise is kind of dumb, but I can compare it to a grown-up Toy Story movie. We all grabbed blankets, mats, pillows, and plenty of snacks. I didn't really think about that, and I just pulled up a metal chair and chilled as the movie started. We were about, I think 10 minutes in, when I noticed Stas. She was chilling, propping her elbows on a mat, and had a glass of hot chocolate. I teased her, asking where to get some, and she actually told me where. I remember grabbing either the entire bag or a cup full of marshmallows, the small ones for hot cocoa, not the big small ones, and I brought them back to my seat. However, instead of sitting on the cold metal chair, I opted to sit on the mat right next to Stas. Do not know why, but it was, I don't know. I offered her some marshmallows, and I was surprised when she accepted them. Then we just sat and watched the movie for a few minutes. For some reason, she didn't tell me to leave or take a hike or yell at me. I knew better than to start drama. Instead, we both just sat there for a bit. Then we talked, mostly about the movie, and I don't remember much about what we talked about. I do remember her saying something about Shay ditching her, which at a later point she would explain further. Once the movie was over, it was time to clean up and head back to our bunks. Before we parted ways, she paused and turned to me and said, "You know, you're not so bad." I had to come up with something to say on the spot, so I just said, "Same to you." And after that, we were friends. Yay. But we also wrote letters back and forth. We didn't have an email, okay? Honestly, it was more fun than writing letters that we would exchange in person. It would make us really excited for the next time we would see each other, so we could get the other person's response to what we said. And we learned a lot about each other with those letters. Pretty soon, however, it was a bit hard to connect the person in the letters with the person in real life. I was a lot more relaxed and empathetic and gentle in my letters, and Stas talked and explained things. It was something she would almost never do in person. And although we didn't see it at the time, these letters would cause a huge misunderstanding. But that's for a different commentary. Those few months automatically make their way into a category of memories I will never forget. If I had to do it over again, I would be nicer to Stas. Even though it worked out, being nice to people always pays off. I hope you enjoyed. The next two commentaries will be on both Unreclusive and Just SiV, but after that, I think I'll post them on only the Just SiV channel. Thank you, and I will see you later.